Hi, everybody. I'm Robin, and these are my reflections. And today we are here to talk about the death card. So, this is a VR to Masha over at Musings by Masha. Hi, Masha. She's been doing these fantastic. She started this tag, it's a year-long project or challenge. People have been dipping in and out where we talk about our top tarot trumps. And today I'm talking about my top death cards. If you would like to check out Masha's channel, her videos, or her playlist for this, I will link that down in the description box below so you can take a look at those. Personally, I've been dipping in and out. I haven't done every video, but I've done a few, I've done a few. So you can check those out. You'll find them either, I think I have them in my collection reflection playlist. They might be in my VR playlist, but I think they're in my collection reflection playlist. So you can check them out there. So let's take a look at some of my favorite death cards from some of my favorite decks. So I started this video, this I don't know, series or whatever, if you want to call it that, where I was talking about not so scary cards, because the death and this one was one I've been meaning to make. I made a list. I never made the video, but I am going to get to it because the death card can sometimes feel a little scary. Death in general is scary for people. I feel like it's rare that people aren't scared of death, right? That's a rare thing. Change is scary. Actual mortality is scary. Leaving behind your loved ones, leaving behind your things, leaving behind what you know, going into the unknown. All of things can be scary. So, yeah, like the death card sometimes can feel scary. Even just the word death is a little bit scary. So I think that this is definitely one for the not so scary tarot little collection that I'm doing. So I'm definitely going to make that video. But while we're here, let's talk about my favorite death cards. So let's start with this one. This is from the Cosmic Tarot. This is definitely one of my favorite decks. I just think this deck is quirky and charming and fun, and I enjoy it. I love it because it represents all of the human things that come and go within life over lifetimes. And I love the way that the death figure here, or Father Time, or whoever you want to call him, is standing here looking at you like, okay, what you got for me? Like, and then there's this, what looks to me to be like a screen almost. It's like a screen of a sunset in the background. It's meant to be a sunset, right? Or a sunrise, or, to represent the change, the cycle, or whatever. But I like to think of it as a screen, as if you are projecting what you've done up until this point on that background. And the reason that I like to think of it that way is because when I see the death card, not always, but sometimes, it does seem to represent time passing, the ending of time, or limited time, right? Cuts in time, things that are just not going to last, right? And so I think that when you're thinking about things that aren't lasting and running out of time and things like that, if you consider him being like, okay, well, what do you got to show me? And you reach him and you say, okay, wait, let me show you what I've done up until now. Like, let me show you what I got done. And then are you going to be proud of that? Is that going to be what you want to display on that screen? If you're coming up to a time when things are going to be changing pretty soon, or maybe it is time to change in the next phase, do you need to move a little faster? Do you need to move a little slower? Do you need to, you know what I'm saying? Like, what's going to be on that screen? And so I kind of like this death card for that, because it reminds me to think about that. I also love to see the clock buried here, the tombstone, and all of the nail in the coffin. You've got some bones. Definitely like to see the sort of, I don't know, is that a scythe or whatever? Because we're like cutting things, ending things, severing things. So yeah, definitely one of my favorite death cards. I also like a death card that doesn't have like a scary figure on it. And even though this is a skeleton, skeletons don't scare me. I guess they scare some people, but I always think about dancing skeletons and stuff, and this one, he's smiling. He doesn't look scary to me. So, yeah, I like him to have a little levity. I do. So I enjoy this death card quite a bit. Charles Harrington, this is the Tarot of Vampires by Charles Harrington. Charles Harrington and I have like very similar brains when it comes to vampires and the lore of vampires. I think he thinks like I think when it comes to these types of vampires. And these are the types of vampires I like to see, these sort of like beautiful, trying trying to hold on to their humanity, kind of torn between what they are and what they were, trying to live in this world but not be evil, but doing evil things kind of situation, that like that emotional turmoil that they live through, but they're beautiful while they do it. They're beautiful and strong while they do it. I kind of love that about vampire lore and vampire stories, vampire TV shows, books, all that. If I was going to make a vampire deck, I feel like a lot of the cards in this deck are exactly what I would do myself if I was making a vampire deck. He just is in my head. You know what I mean? Like, if you're thinking about the moment of transition or the moment of change in the world of a vampire, it is exactly when the blood hits her lips and she then ingests the magic that changes her from human to vampire. She is literally on the precipice. The blood is literally in the air, dropping down, and her mouth is open. She is 2 seconds from that transition, or maybe less than that, depending on how fast that blood drops. So it's perfect. This is the transition. This is the perfect transition. So that is one of my favorites in the deck, as well as one of my favorite death cards in general. The Super Lunaris Tarot is my favorite tarot deck, and it's my favorite tarot deck for many reasons, but a lot of the images in it are my favorite images, and that's part of the reason why it's my favorite deck. But this one is definitely one that I have loved from the beginning, even before you know how you get like a deeper appreciation for a deck, the more you use it, the more connected you become to it. This was one that stood out to me when I first opened the deck. So while it doesn't have the skeleton and the imagery may not, lead you towards thinking about your mortality, this forest is literally burning up. It's on fire. And this phoenix is rising from the ashes of it, right? So it's definitely a transition here, a transition happening from something big, and whatever is left behind is not going to be much, right? So we can't move backwards. We can't hustle backwards when it comes to this. Little sprout coming up, building, almost starting to build. You have even the roots coming down, starting to build this new forest that's coming right on the brink of the one that's being destroyed, right? Like they're overlaid here. It's almost like it's coming. It might be coming because of it, but really it feels like it's coming in spite of it, right? Like it's coming anyway because it feels like divinely pushed through. Like it's been pushed through by spirit, and speaks to me quite a bit on a soul level, on a spiritual level. Just it's on my level, right? It's part of me. I don't know. This deck feels like it's an extension of me. So I think it's because it's my favorite deck and I use it so much. But that's the death card from the Super Lunaris Tarot. I was looking at this and I was thinking, and another thing that I forgot to mention is I really love all of the deep black surrounding the figures here, because it's like spotlight right on this moment, right? Right on this moment. And it's just like if everything was frozen right now, what came before, you're not able to access that anymore. What are you going to, except for the memories of it, right? Like that's all you can access of what came before. And in this moment, what memories would you take with you into the next phase? What lessons are you going to take with you into the next phase? What parts of your humanity are going to go with you into the next phase? What important things, And so I really love this card. Anyway, so this one is the urban. I almost forgot the name of it. The Urban Tarot. When I was looking at this deck and lusting over it for years until I finally bought it, this was definitely one of the cards that I was just like, yo, this is crazy. And yeah, I still find it to be one of my favorite death cards. The creator states in the guidebook that they wanted to put something here that felt uncomfortable because death is uncomfortable for a lot of people. They also said that they wanted to show an image here that was not just uncomfortable, but based in reality, because a lot of the times at the end of life, when you're thinking about the actual death, like the actual mortal death, a lot of people die in hospitals, and the last people they see are the doctors and nurses or the staff in the hospitals, oftentimes, and so they wanted to really portray that on the card. You've got the Beatles walking up to the clock. So if you're thinking about the transitions and the ending of time, the beginning of time, time running out. I was reading in the guidebook for this one where they were saying something like everybody has to come to terms with the fact that life ends, and not just life, things end, cycles end, and hopefully, especially in the case of life ending, um, we can come to terms with that without having to be forced into it. But I think that if we were in a situation like this where we were forced into it, imagine the chaotic emotional like energy that would surround that. Whatever ending of a cycle is being represented, if it's coming out like this and my eyes are drawn to these Beatles, I might think it's a chaotic transition, right? Something that someone is very fearful of, someone is counting the seconds until it's over and trying to make them stop, sort of thing. um, the heart is involved here. It's being torn from the chest, actually. His face is covered, right? Because it's uncertain. We don't know when it's coming. We can't see their face. They're removing the heart, you would think, to put it in someone else, right? To put it somewhere else into a new life. And so, I mean, that's what I'm guessing for this. So I'm guessing that's why they're tearing the heart from this person's chest. I hope that's why. So I'm thinking when I see this sort of thing about how nothing ever ends, right? It just keeps going to the next, to the next, to the next. And as long as there is energy, it will keep re-looping and continuing and things like that. And so I think those are thoughts that come up when I see this card and I'm thinking about whatever transition is happening around it in the other cards. So I love this one. I actually really love this death card, but it's heavy. It's heavy. And so to finish us out, I thought I'd bring a lighthearted one because this one is really heavy. This is a tarot of the Haunted Mansion, the Haunted House. I never can remember the name of this damn deck, and I don't have the box. I think it's the Haunted Mansion. It's either Haunted Mansion or Dark Mansion. The Dark Mansion. This is tarot of the Dark Mansion. So this so this death card cracks me up every time I see it. A lot of these cards, this deck makes me happy. It makes me happy to look at it. The pictures are funny and they're just adorable. And this death card cracks me up every time I see it. He just looks so over it. Like I don't want to do this no more. Like I don't want to do this job. Like somebody else can do it. Every time I show up, nobody wants to hang out with me. I got on my sharp gear. I'm wearing my purple suit. I try to look nice for people, but they don't want to see me. No matter where I go, no matter how I tell them that, on the other side of the gate, there's light, there's, hope. They don't ever greet me with open arms. You would think that I was coming to kill them or something. And I just adore him. I just adore him so much. And so I thought that we could end on a lighter note after the heaviness of the Urban Tarot. So, and the Super Lunaris. And well, I guess a lot of these are heavy actually, but I mean the death card could be a heavy card. So that is the last of my favorites of the death cards. Let me know in the comments below what your favorite death card is. Just to recap, we have the Cosmic Tarot, the Tarot of Vampires by Charles Harrington, the Super Lunaris Tarot. This is the Urban Tarot, and this is the Dark Mansion Tarot. Thank you to Masha again for creating this. This has been a fun exploration. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more from me, you can subscribe. I release videos every few days regarding tarot and oracle. I'd love to have you. Got lots of videos coming. So if you subscribe and hit the bell and all of that, you'll see them when they're popping up. I think I'm going to be releasing them just a little bit faster this month, just so I can get it done. Like I said before, I'll link in the description box below Masha's playlist for this, because she has everybody's videos in. You can take a look, see what other people's trumps are that they love, why they love them, all kinds of things. Learn a little bit about how people think about these trumps and stuff. It's been great. Masha's videos have been very educational. I've been enjoying this a lot. It's been a year-long adventure, and I've really been enjoying watching it come to fruition on YouTube, and then even jumping in and out. And until I come back with another trump, I will see you guys next time. Stay safe and be blessed. Bye-bye. Sometimes I can't tell when I look at this guy if he's like bored with his job or bored with me. Like, you know what? I'm so tired of you. You're basic. You know, like, what are you going to do to do better? Because this is some nonsense. Like, you already know it. I'm getting ready to get this scythe out because I'm tired of hearing about. I'm tired. I'm tired.